This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the afternoon of Friday, November 17th, 2023. I'm Kate Sharon. The economic outlook in Northwest Indiana is strong, according to a report from Indiana University Northwest. The university's School of Business and Economics on Friday presented the Northwest Indiana 2023 Futurecast, which showed that the region is seeing population growth for the first time in more than a decade. Micah Polick, Associate Professor of Economics at IU Northwest, said one of the major factors of the growth is that the economy is doing well for workers.
In the last few years, though, that's turned around. Not only is population growing, it's growing because we have positive net migration. So people are either moving into Northwest Indiana or staying here at much higher rates than they used to. And we have a lot fewer leaving. And, ultimately that's the single best measure of how an economy is doing and how prosperous its future is. If people want to live here, then that's a great sign.
Adjusting for inflation, wages for all workers in Northwest Indiana have grown 5.8% since 2019, the report said. Specifically, in accommodation and food services, wages have grown 20.6% in the same time frame. In a unanimous vote this week, the Bloomington City Council recognized the Capital Improvement Board and the Convention and Visitors Commission as the two groups with decision-making power over the Monroe Convention Center expansion project and its operations. They will have the power to make decisions about location, design, and construction, as well as amenities like a hotel or parking garage. Mayor John Hamilton signed the agreement November 15th. The Monroe County Council and the Monroe County Commissioners will need to ratify the agreement in their upcoming meetings. Earlier this year, the Monroe County Board of Commissioners approved a CBI to oversee the project. This came after a similar proposal 7 months earlier that ended with Bloomington Mayor John Hamilton vetoing the plan in hopes of creating a 501c3 not-for-profit to guide the project. The council then overrode his veto. Eli Lilly and Company announced Friday morning that it plans to build a $2.5 billion factory in Germany to make injectable drugs, its latest move to meet the soaring demand for medicines for diabetes and weight loss. The Indianapolis-based drug maker said the factory in Alzey, Rhineland-Palatinate, about 400 miles southwest of the German capital Berlin, will employ up to 1,000 highly skilled workers such as engineers, operators, and scientists, and will include automation and high-speed manufacturing lines. Another 1,900 jobs will be created during construction, which is scheduled to begin in 2024, the company said. The site will be operational by 2027. With the planned manufacturing facility in Alzey, Lilly will operate a total of 6 manufacturing sites in Europe, including one nearby in France. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
IBJ Media, Inside Indiana Business, and the Indiana Economic Development Corporation invite you to Engage Central Indiana, presented by CareSource, Indiana University, and Old National Bank. You won't want to miss our fireside chat with Governor Holcomb and the Michael A. Carroll Award presentation to Mitch Daniels. Plus, we'll dive into the important issues shaping the region's economy. It's December 6th at the JW Marriott in downtown Indy. RSVP at ibj.com/engage.
The History Channel this week will premiere an 8-part documentary series on President John F. Kennedy that was written and directed by Carmel filmmaker Ashton Gleckman. Kennedy focuses on the life of the 35th president, which was a particular focus for Gleckman, who wanted to get more into Kennedy's life than just his assassination. Gleckman said the inspiration for the documentary came during the pandemic in 2020.
And I wanted to try to find a story that had some semblance of hope and unity. And I also have been noticing, over the last few years, how divided America is in terms of the political parties. And I looked back at this remarkable story and I remembered, being a young kid in school and seeing the footage of JFK giving the inaugural address saying, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country." And seeing this amazing color film of this young, charismatic guy who had a great skill for oratory and inspiration. And I was like, you know what? We need a little bit of this right now. We need a little bit of that.
The series will air Saturday through Monday ahead of the 60th anniversary of Kennedy's assassination on November 22nd. Indiana's unemployment rate remained flat at 3.6% in October. The Indiana Department of Workforce Development said Friday the state added 3,400 private sector jobs over the previous month. October marked the first time since April that the state's unemployment rate did not go up. The rate had increased at least 0.1% every month since the 3% mark in April. The DWD said Indiana's total private employment stands at 2.8 million jobs, marking a new peak for the state. The increase in jobs last month is being attributed to gains in the construction, private educational and health services, leisure and hospitality, financial activities, and trade, transportation, and utilities sectors. Indianapolis-based TechPoint is launching a new initiative, the Indiana Founders Network, which aims to help Hoosier entrepreneurs connect with their peers for personal support and networking. The network, which TechPoint announced Friday, is open to current and former founders and co-founders. It is not meant for startup investors or vendors. The group's first gathering will be a January 25th kickoff breakfast. The network aims to help founders build relationships, share information, and support each other through the stress, isolation, and fear that can be a part of entrepreneurship, said TechPoint Vice President of Innovation and Entrepreneurship, Chelsea Linder. The ARC of Indiana says it will expand training opportunities for individuals with disabilities to students in Indianapolis with the support of a new Indiana University health grant. IU Health has awarded $487,500 over 3 years to the ARC of Indiana Foundation's Erskine Green Training Institute to create a workforce training program at the Riley Hospital for Children in Indianapolis. Erskine Green Training Institute currently offers vocational training to people with disabilities through the Lacey Family Healthcare Program at IU Health Ball Memorial Hospital in Muncie. 23-year-old Carmel, Indiana filmmaker Ashton Gleckman is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Kate Sharon for Inside Indiana Business, Radio on Demand.